I didn't realize this, that the Gulls were in the old Western States Hockey League, and now there is another minor league hockey league team here, and that is the San Diego Sabers. And Craig Carlisle, that's Randy Carlisle's kid, the ex-NHL player and head coach of the one-time Anaheim Ducks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they got an event going on here, doing some great work here with charity events. And anytime we can start talking hockey here, because of the Gulls and the affiliation that we have with them, it is an all good thing here. Now, I do want to get State Senator Joel Anderson on with us, and we'll talk about this event. But I also want to talk to him about the Chargers and get his thoughts here on whether or not the state can get involved in trying to keep a team here and what he's doing maybe. You can follow Joel on Twitter at Joel Anderson CA. I believe it's District 38, if I'm not mistaken. State Senator from California is Joel Anderson. He joins us here now on the Corky's Hotline. Joel, before we get into this event here, and I appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you so much for doing this. What's the state's position on these funded stadiums? There's only been one stadium built in the state of California in the last 5-6 years, even 10 years for that matter, and that's been the one up in Santa Clara, and that's been private money that went there, no public money. What's your position on where you are now with the Chargers here in San Diego?
Well, I think that when you're looking at a world-class city, professional sports has to be part of that composition. When we looked at previous stadiums, what generally has happened is one of the legislators will carry a bill that waives all the CEQA requirements. These are the environmental concerns. So they will streamline the CEQA to lower the cost of the actual construction. Because we know in California that if you try to build anything in California, the environmental rules are just abusive to the developers.
Do you think, Joel, that's one of the concerns that the Chargers have right now is the EIR and how rushed it was with the city that, hey, listen, if you're really, like you just said, if you don't want this thing to get held up in court like the people like Corey Briggses of the world and those guys sitting there throwing darts at it, that you really have to have between a 12 and 18-month EIR that's going to be able to get through a courtroom. Is that fair?
Well, whether it's a stadium or anything else, trying to construct anything of any magnitude, you're slapped with all sorts of environmental lawsuits. Any citizen can slap you with that lawsuit, and then you spend a lot of time in court trying to make it work. And yeah, absolutely, that's got to be a major concern. I have to use this as a quick segue to the best value for the dollar is this Saturday night at the Sabres hockey game. You know, we have the San Diego Sabers. They were formerly the Gulls, but the new semi-pro team took over the Gulls name, and the Sabres are still here. They're an amateur team. It's one of the highest leagues an amateur can play, and it's going to be law enforcement appreciation night. So anybody in law enforcement can show up and watch the game for free, and it's at the Iceplex in Escondido. There are no bad seats, and I don't know Dan, if you follow this, but if you look at football on TV, if you look at baseball on TV, those sports were improved by TV. You look at hockey, it didn't improve. There's no better way to watch hockey than in person.
Absolutely. I am a giant hockey fan, and you're right. The only thing that the other, the HD has done is it's really done a great job for baseball and really a great job for pro football and for college football. But if you don't go to a hockey event, you don't really appreciate the speed of the guys on the ice. You don't appreciate the banging that goes on out there in the corners. It's the best ticket in sports. And you know what I also love what you mentioned too, Senator, is the fact that these guys and these hockey guys are accessible. When you go up to them for an autograph or you want to see something done in the community, like you said, law enforcement appreciation night, these guys really mean it. They really are community-oriented because that's what the NHL and that's really what the hockey guy is all about.
Now, I got to ask you, Dan, so who's your favorite team?
When I was younger, it used to be the New York Islanders because when I was in high school back east, the Islanders won the Cup every single year I was there in high school. They won it 4 years in a row. I'd have to say right now that I'm probably still a Tampa Bay Lightning fan because I knew Todd Lewicki and I worked in that organization a little bit, but I'm becoming more and more a Ducks fan.
Well, California has great, exciting teams. I mean, all three of our teams have just really risen to the occasion. I was pleased to see the LA finally got Stanley Cup, but I grew up in Detroit, so I got to tell you, I'm a Red Wings fan. I'm all red, in and out.
Boy,
and I got my jersey, and when the Wings swing through California, I try to catch all 3 games.
I'll tell you what, Joel, I'm friends with Ken Holland there, their general manager, and I think he's the greatest general manager. You know, I wasn't happy that they ended up getting rid of the coach there, but I'll tell you what, that organization, or as I should say, like the true Canadian, that organization is truly one of the greatest of all time. Hey, Senator, hopefully let's do this again, man. We'll talk a little bit down the road. I appreciate you coming on, and don't forget, folks, this event, too, is Appreciation Night, too. It's there Saturday, right, if I'm not mistaken there, 10/17, that's right, and it's going to be there in Escondido.
Family of 4 is less than $50 to get in to see the game. And these kids are playing for love of the game. There's a lot of heart on the ice. It's fast, it's fun, and it's family-oriented. So I hope to see everybody there.
You got it. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. as well. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
The Mighty 1090 Hotline is presented by Corky's.
Call 1-800-901-1102.